and welcome to the newest, freshest, and as of today, the best edition of your award-winning Kingsport Chamber Zone, the show that is all about this fabulous city of Kingsport and your wonderful Kingsport Chamber of Commerce. I am Laura Woods with Eastman Chemical Company. He is my good friend, co-host, and fellow eater, Bob Fegans with the Kingsport Chamber of Commerce. And Bob, we are coming today from one of our favorite locations, Texas Roadhouse. I can smell the food.
Yes, we can. We're outside and we can already smell it. Always love coming here to Texas Roadhouse, be it for lunch, dinner, or a CZ taping, or hopefully a combination thereof, since we're here for the taping today.
I'm here for the food.
She's always here for the food. That's good reason, because Texas Roadhouse has the freshest hand-cut steaks and ribs you will find anywhere. Throw in some excellent appetizers, some sides, and a number of wonderful entrees, and you can see why so many make Texas Roadhouse their favorite place to eat as well. They can also bring the food to you as they have an excellent catering service. We'll tell you all about Texas Roadhouse in just a moment.
And we'll also talk to you about a really cool organization that is celebrating 25 impactful years right here in Kingsport, and that, of course, is Young Life of Kingsport. They have a great banquet that's coming up that will tell you how you can participate in, whether you want to attend, whether you want to be a table host, whether you want to just otherwise donate to the organization. It's a cool group in that it takes adult leaders and allows them to be part of teenagers' lives by showing them the love of Christ. And it does it in the teenager setting on the teenager's turf. And so it's an all-welcoming, all-encompassing, wonderful Christian organization, Young Life of Kingsport.
Just a great organization that makes a big difference in the lives of so many teenagers. And well, later on your CZ, we'll turn our attention to the very serious topic of Alzheimer's, or more specifically, those who care for a loved one who is suffering with this awful, awful disease. Preston Place 2 and the Kingsport Kiwanis Club are getting ready to host their annual Alzheimer's Caregivers Conference on Tuesday, September 15th. This is the perfect venue for anyone who is caring for someone who has Alzheimer's. We'll have all the event details and tell you how and why you should attend and how it can make a big difference to you and your family.
As you can tell, we've got a great show coming up, and more importantly, great food as soon as we are done. So we're going to zip right through these interviews, get all the pertinent information to you, and while we're getting set up for that, we want you to check out what's happening in Kingsport. So here are the latest events. We are so pleased to be joined by our host today, in part because we're here in a restaurant, and y'all know what that means for me because I love my food. And this place is a great place to get it. We are at Texas Roadhouse and joined by its general manager, David Batts. David, thank you so much for having us on the show.
Thank you.
Talk to us about Texas Roadhouse.
Well, we've been in Kingsport for 16 years now, so pretty permanent fixture here in Kingsport. We really pride ourselves on our food at Texas Roadhouse. We have legendary food, legendary service is our mantra, and we really take that serious. Hand-cut steaks, so awesome food.
Yeah.
Well, the steaks are
amazing.
Amazing, absolutely. A lot of people come here for the steaks, but people come here for another number of other items and entrees on your menu. So highlight what else people find on that menu.
Well, I'm going to stay on the steaks for just a second because we spend a lot of time on that. We have Glenn, he's our meat cutter. He spends 8 hours in a frozen box back there hand cutting all of our steaks for us. But our fall off the bone ribs are absolutely incredible. Made from scratch side items. All of our dressings for our salads are handmade, and we even bake our own croutons here. So put a lot into it.
And I do hope y'all heard, they have somebody here who hand cuts the steaks. I mean, that's
big difference in other restaurants, isn't it?
That's huge.
Yes, it is. A lot of restaurants, they bring it in prepackaged, so we really take a lot of pride in that.
Right.
And you can also take that menu on the road. Of course, the restaurant is always crowded for lunch and dinner, but you can also take that menu to people, to their own party, in their own homes, in their own offices, with your excellent catering service. So talk about that for a moment.
Sure. We do a lot of doctor's offices in the area. We actually went out and fed the John Sevier Band Banquet this year. It's our second year in a row doing that. Usually about 300 people is about the max we can handle. Majority of the catering we do on parties of that size are for charity organizations, but we can always entertain doing anything for just about any group. A lot of Eastman caterings, that kind of stuff.
Sure. Well, and we understand why, because you just have fabulous food. And in addition to that, though, you have wonderful people here who work. Your customer service, the staff here are just so friendly.
I agree. I think that is one of our biggest advantages in this industry is our people, and we have a lot of people that are committed, a lot of long-term employees. We have people that have been here 10, 12 years, and they love the company, they love the people they work with, and we pride ourselves on customer service. I think you'll find if employees like working where they work, they're going to do a better job and take care of the people a little better. So,
well, judging by all the laughter that we've heard coming from the back as we've been here getting set up this morning, it's pretty obvious that your crew likes to have a good time and enjoys each other's company. So.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you've got great food, you've got a great team, you also have a great commitment to community service as you're heavily involved in this community and in surrounding communities too. Talk about that for a moment and why Texas Roadhouse feels that's so important to get involved as you do.
Well, I believe as a corporate entity, you have a responsibility to be involved in your local community, and we certainly take that to as high of a level as we possibly can. We had a great involvement with the Dobyns-Bennett basketball team, where we went down and fed the Army National Guard in Churchill a couple of weeks back. That was an awesome event. Nothing like feeding the soldiers.
Sure.
We helped the Boys and Girls Club next door. St. Jude's is another organization we've helped recently. Kitchen of Hope in downtown Kingsport. The list goes on on different charitable organizations that we've assisted and continue to assist.
I know you're a big supporter of the Kingsport Chamber. Appreciate your involvement with our golf scramble.
Oh, yeah, it was a great event.
Yeah, it was a great event, and you got to play as well. So, but schools are also very important. Well, me too. I understand that. But schools are also very important. They're an outreach you all.
Sure.
A lot with.
We try to take care of our teachers. One thing we do, we actually went around and put out free appetizers in all the teachers' box with school starting back, and tried to get them a little discount when they come out to eat, because they don't get paid enough. So we also do a lot of charitable events. We raise money for George Washington through a fundraiser we've done at the beginning of the year. Heavily involved with supporting Dobyns-Bennett Band, and their sports programs. Any event that any school can come up with, we can certainly find a way to assist them, help them raise money.
Yeah. So David, anytime we come here, we always like to sit in the bar area. It's a nice bar area, and I noticed that it has a different look to it.
It does. We added several TVs. Spent an awful lot of time and effort and money to spruce the place up. The building's 16 years old, and it was time to get us up to the digital age, and it really looks good. It really opens things up, and I think people enjoy coming here. They enjoy the bar staff and all of our friendly servers that help out in the bar area.
Did you pay for the Cowboy Star?
The Dallas Cowboy Star, I noticed. Mr. Steelers fan has the Cowboy Star up right in the middle.
I don't really call it a Cowboy Star. I believe it's just a star.
A star.
Well, we have them on our flag.
There it is, for the flag. Not a Cowboys fan, but you are, so you can call it
absolutely.
a
I noticed
Cowboys
it first
star.
thing, yes.
It is a nice looking star. It is certainly sets the environment in here for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you certainly have several TVs here in the bar, and I'm sure you'll be showing lots of football this fall. And if you ever show Chambers on, it's a good thing you're in the bar. So
Oh yeah,
people
sure.
may be needing a drink.
Yeah, definitely.
That
Any
would drive up
Tennessee,
the alcohol consumption. Yeah.
for sure. Any Tennessee games that are
Right,
broadcast will certainly be showing, and we try to monitor the local sports as well. Any of the Dobyns-Bennett football games that are on will show, of course. So anything that you can request and we can find it, we'll put it on TVs for you.
So David, remind us, tell us where you're located, the hours of operation, how people can get in touch with you.
Sure. It's 1221 East Stone Drive. We open it at 11. We're usually open till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And the phone number here is 423-378-4104. And you can always look us up on the internet at texasroadhouse.com.
Easy enough.
David Batts with Texas Roadhouse, thanks for hosting your CZ today, and thanks for all you do for your Kingsport Chamber and the schools and this community.
You're very welcome, and thank you for having us today.
Thank you, David. We appreciate it. Stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to tell you how you can make the difference in the life of a high schooler right after this. Welcome back to this edition of your Kingsport Chamber Zone on location from Texas Roadhouse.
Young Life Kingsport is an absolute wonderful ministry that shares the love of Christ with area high school teenagers by putting adults actively in their daily lives. Young Life connects these adults with the teenagers on their turf and in their culture and helps to build long and lasting and meaningful friendships that make a huge difference in the life of these teenagers. Here now to tell us more about this wonderful ministry is the director, Scotty Dancy, who's a frequent guest on the CZ. Scotty, it's always good to see you.
We're good to be back. Thanks for having me back on.
First of all, congratulations on celebrating 25 years of Young Life in
amazing.
Kingsport, and we're going to talk more about that in a minute. That truly is amazing. But first, just give us an overview of Young Life.
Well, again, you kind of hit on it, is that the heart of what Young Life is about is that Young Life leaders go where kids are. That they build relationships with those kids, and it's through those relationships that they share the love of Christ. They become mentors. They listen and really care for and love kids right where they are, and that it's through those relationships that the gospel is shared and that lives are changed.
And the relationship is one where the adult volunteer gets to see a lot of things going on in the teenager's world, the ups, the downs, the struggles, and all of those things. So could you talk just a little bit about the role that adult volunteer plays in the teenager's life?
Yeah, the volunteer leader will enter the world of kids, whether it be high school or middle school, and they'll show up at football games or band practices, and it's through these times of meeting kids that they kind of get to know them. They start off with questions about their lives, and eventually the conversations will turn deeper to about, more serious issues of, say, problems within the family or problems, that they're experiencing with friends, and as the relationship's deeper, is that leader is always there.
Sure.
It is kind of been intentional. I think it's the intentionality of the relationships is that we don't wait for them to come to us. As we go build those friendships, we go where they are.
Right.
And the difference in the impact these adults make on the lives of these teenagers truly is extraordinary, isn't it?
It is amazing that just what the relationship does. I'm here today as the area director of Young Life because somebody did that in me, that it changed my life forever.
Right.
And my wife, the same thing, that Young Life changed her life. And think about it, it's changed the course of our family. And so I believe what we're doing is more than impacting this generation of kids, it's impacting families down the road.
Of course, yeah.
It's an absolutely great volunteer opportunity for anyone who wants to share the love of Christ with local teenagers. So how can someone become an adult volunteer, and what's expected of them?
Yeah, well, we have Young Life for our high school kids and Wildlife for our middle school kids, and sometimes people are passionate about one and more than the other, and but if they are interested in leading either Young Life or Wildlife, they could call me at 423-534-9259, or they can shoot me an email, sdancy@ylkpt.org, and then there's a training. We don't just throw them out there. We kind of give them training and principles of how we do it and why we do it. But yeah, we could use as many leaders as we could get.
Well, and that's because you have a lot of different fellowship and program opportunities as well to keep not only the youth involved, but to also make it easier for the adults to get involved too.
Yeah, we have Young Life on Monday night. It's called Young Life Club, and so we need quite a few hands on deck for that to kind of pull that off. It's been called a party with a purpose, and then
unlike our show.
Right, absolutely.
It is really kind of, if we are taking kids who don't know Christ and we are kind of giving them fun, exciting environments.
Right.
Is that they come and it's music and we're playing games and laughing a lot. It's also been called organized chaos.
That is
our show. Yes.
That's our show.
Well, feel free to use that term. But yeah, and it takes our adults to kind of pull that off. And what I mean by adults is that we have college students up through career age professionals, and so it's our leadership team is very diverse in that. But and then we also do small group Bible studies to kind of the kids as they begin a relationship with Christ. We call those campaigner groups, and these campaigner groups are led by adults who just kind of, again, it's that being present in the lives of kids, and they're opening up the Word with these kids and teaching them what it means to follow Christ. So there's a bunch of different opportunities to get involved.
Sure, absolutely. And then what schools do you serve in the area?
Okay, we are currently in 4 high schools: Dobbins Bennett, South, Central, and North, and we are prayerfully considering Hawkins County.
Okay.
We do not have Young Life in Hawkins County, but that is on our horizon. And then we are serving probably about 4 to 5 middle school, that we, Colonial Heights, Sullivan, Sevier, Robinson, and Holston.
Okay, great.
We mentioned 25 years of Young Life in Kingsport. That, of course, will be a major theme at your upcoming fundraiser banquet that you hold every year in the fall. So tell us a little bit about the banquet and how people can participate, get tickets, or more importantly, donate.
Yeah, well, again, the fundraising banquet, it's our annual kind of tradition that we do in the fall, and it's really twofold. One is that we're going to celebrate what God has done in the ministry. And, you know, we usually just celebrate what he's done in the last year, but we're celebrating 25 years. And as we've been looking at the numbers, hundreds, if not thousands of kids have come to faith through Young Life in the last 25 years. And it's just amazing to think about that the ministry's been here for this long. And so, but also part of it is that we raise the money, you know, part of the money that it takes to run the ministry the night of the banquet. And we're excited that we're expecting 500 people at this year's banquet. Last year we had 400, and it continues to grow. And so we want to cast a vision of what Young Life is, celebrate what God is doing, and hopefully raise some money. And if somebody would like to come, they could again call me or shoot me an email, and we'd be happy to get them on the guest list.
And something else you're doing is unveiling a new ministry.
That is right. That is right. We are, you know, we're kind of rolling this out this fall that we are prayerfully considering, really kind of leaning towards starting in Capernaum. It's a ministry with kids with disabilities, and so. You know that a few years ago, Young Life had the slogan, "Every kid, everywhere for eternity," and I'm passionate about that. You know that we want to reach as many kids as possible. And a few years ago, I was standing in the cafeteria at Dobbins Bennett High School, and so these kids with special needs. The Buzz program at DB is so wonderful, and I thought, those kids, we're not reaching those kids.
Yeah.
And so we've been kind of meeting with some parents and meeting with some people, and that we are. Definitely, hopefully, going to start that this year sometime.
That's exciting. That's so exciting.
If there's a kid out there, middle school or high school, or the parent of the kid that they want to sign up their child for Young Life, how can they do that?
They can go to younglife.org, you know, or even they can just call me, and I can tell them when we meet. Young Life meets every Monday night, and Wildlife meets every other Saturday night.
Okay.
And where do you meet?
Young Life meets at Grace Fellowship Church, and then Wildlife meets at Colonial Heights Baptist.
Great. Well, Scotty Dancy with Young Life, thank you so much for being on the show. Congratulations on all of the success that you all have experienced over the past few years, and we know that it's just going to continue to increase. Thank you.
Well, thank you all very much for having me on again.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Scotty. And when we come back on your CZ, we'll have some great advice for anyone who cares for a loved one suffering with Alzheimer's. And welcome back to your Kingsport Chambers on location from Texas Roadhouse here on Stone Drive.
You know, there are probably a lot of people who watch the show, a lot of people out there who have somehow been touched by Alzheimer's. You've known somebody who's had it, you've had a loved one who's experienced it, you've watched your friends provide care for somebody in their lives who's had Alzheimer's. And so we all know what kind of a debilitating disease it can be for the person who has it. And something else that we probably have all been made aware of as well is that the toll that it can take on the person who is caring for the person diagnosed with Alzheimer's. It is a debilitating disease all the way around.
It does take a tremendous toll on the caregiver, and now the Kingsport Kiwanis Club and Preston Place 2 are once again hosting an Alzheimer's Caregivers Conference. It is set for Tuesday, September the 15th at St. Dominic Catholic Church. The conference will provide education, practical solutions, and support for the caregivers to help them in their care for their loved ones.
It will certainly be a great resource, and here to tell us more about it is Sharon Durnan. Sharon has been on our show before to talk about this very subject. She is the administrator and a dementia trainer at Preston Place 2 and also a member of the Kiwanis Club. So Sharon, welcome.
Thank you very much.
We certainly want to hear all about the conference and the wonderful resources that you're going to have available, but before we do that, let's talk just a little bit about Alzheimer's and the effects that it can have not only on the patient but also on the caregiver.
Alzheimer's disease is still the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. About every 67 seconds, someone is affected by that. So if you think about that in the overall picture, it's over 5 million people that are affected by Alzheimer's disease. not only the person is affected, but their families, their loved ones. And so that's where the Caregiver Conference comes in because of the Alzheimer's disease. We're very hard pressed to find anyone that's not been affected some way in their family or friends or loved ones that have had Alzheimer's.
Right.
So Alzheimer's is still very prevalent today.
It is prevalent. It's still the only disease that there is no cure, there's no slowing the progression, and there's no prevention, which is very scary. So.
It is certainly scary for the caregiver, and your conference that the Kingsport Kiwanis Club in Preston Place 2 is putting together gives the total focus is on the caregiver. So give us an overview of the conference.
It is on the caregivers because the people out there, they're hard pressed to find someone to help, to know how to handle someone. They're thrown into a caregiving role and they didn't ask to do that.
Sure.
So our goal is to relieve some of that stress by teaching them ways to handle that person as far as their daily activities, things they need to do. Also, the caregivers need to take some time out, and it's easier if you know that there's help and there's resources and just a little bit of how to handle that and what the disease is about. So that is our conference goal, is to reach that caregiver.
Sure, setting those expectations so that the people who are the caregivers know what will be coming.
Absolutely, because that's 24/7 job for most folks, and that's a very hard thing to live with each day.
Well, you've come up with an amazing lineup, lots of experts who are going to be coming in to speak, so tell us about them.
One, we're very excited, Teepa Snow. She's very highly sought after to be a speaker. She's travels all over the United States. She has had 33 years of clinical experience in helping geriatrics and dementia care. She has her own practice doing that, so she's very good. People know who she is when we say her name. So we're very excited about that, very honored to have her come into Kingsport. We also have Dr. Robert Lee, who is a local here. He's been in practice since, I think, 1982 here in Kingsport, and most people know, they call him Dr. Bob. He's a medical director for a lot of facilities, being long-term care or assisted living as well, and so he's going to speak about the medications, things that you might want to do before medications have to come into the picture. So it's going to be a great day to do those things, and a lot of questions will be answered, a lot of hands-on training, and I think that's what people need, practical solutions to help every day.
Absolutely.
Who should attend this conference, and how can they do that?
Anyone that can be professional caregivers, that we reach out to them, but our main goal, I think, is also the community, because those are the people that sometimes feel they have no hope, they have no backup and support, and they don't know where to go or what to do, how to even get up each day and start that day. So that's who we're trying to reach.
Family members,
Loved
spouses,
ones,
children,
friends,
loved ones, friends.
Absolutely, and just anyone that wants to know about this, because with the prevalence of it, you know, there's a big chance that if you don't know anyone with that now or have a loved one, you probably will.
Sure,
So that's very sad.
And there do come times when the person can no longer be the caregiver, and that's where someplace like Preston Place 2 becomes invaluable, because you have a wonderful dementia unit available there at Preston Place 2, along with a lot of great other services. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Preston Place 2 is still assisted living, so they're still able to get around. And so our goal at Preston Place 2 is to have quality of life and keep them safe. We're the only secured freestanding around that actually offers the Alzheimer's dementia care. All of our staff is certified dementia practitioners. They've been trained. And so we also have a resource center there that has people, you can come in off the street, you can call us, folks that just need to know where to go, doctors, physicians, anything that they might need. So we do have the resource center that's new to us. We do support groups. There's all kinds of things that we do, adult day services, things that you can do to keep people safe, because our doors are secured. So it makes us a little bit unique.
Sure.
And the Alzheimer's Caregivers Conference would not be possible without Preston Place 2, and of course the great support of the Kingsport Kiwanis Club, of which you are a member. So tell us about this wonderful organization you have
I'm
here in
proud
our
to be a
community.
member of the Kiwanis Club, absolutely. They've been around Kingsport, I think, since about 1924. A lot of people know of them. What makes them a great fit with Preston Place 2 and Preston Place community is it is the community, to serve the community. They're a global, international group of volunteers, and that is their goal, and they're dedicated to change the world to make it a better place, one community, one child at a time. Whether that be vaccinations in third world countries, reading programs here in our local elementary schools, ringing the bell with the Salvation Army at Christmas time, coats and shoes program. There's a lot of things that the Kiwanis do. They're a great organization, great people dedicated to making it a better place to be, and that's what it's all about.
Right.
Sharon, give us the dates and the times again of the Alzheimer's Caregivers Conference and where people can find more information.
Absolutely. September the 15th, and that will start about 8:30 in the morning, registration, and we start around 9 with the speakers. We'll end up about 4:30. You can look on the KingsportKiwanis.org website. They also have a phone number. Let's hope I get it right. 423-343-5310. They can also call Preston Place 2, which is 423-378-4673. Or they can also email me at Sharon@PrestonPlaceSuites.com. There's a lot of ways to get into that. So
Absolutely.
And is there a
easy.
cost to attend?
It is. Before September, it's $30 per caregiver, non-professional, and it's $60 for professional. It goes up a little bit after September the 1st because that's closing in on the conference. So.
Well, Sharon Derlin with Preston Place 2 and with the Kingsport Kiwanis Club, thanks for joining us today, and thanks for all the great work you do in helping to care for those
We
with
appreciate your
Alzheimer's.
support and for letting us be here this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Sharon.
Sharon.
Stay tuned. We'll have more of your CZ right after this.
See behind us, they're getting our steaks ready. We can't wait. The steaks are absolutely perfect here at Texas Roadhouse, as is everything that's on the menu here at Texas Roadhouse. We want to thank them for hosting your Kingsport Chamber Zone today and for all they do in this community.
Yes.
And as always, the great team at Spectrum Reach for producing the show.
Remember, to find out what's happening here in Kingsport, you can always check us out here on the Kingsport Chamber Zone. You can also contact the Chamber at 392-8800. They'd love to have a visit from you. They are located at 400 Clinchfield Street in Kingsport. Feel free to drop in anytime you want to. And if you're feeling social, so are they. You can like them on Facebook and you can follow them on Twitter.
Sir, I can't not listen to you. I keep checking on my steak, see if it's ready. So, because we're getting that much closer.
Second fiddle to a steak. I'm not surprised.
Texas Roadhouse here on Stone Drive, open every day at 11 a.m. to about 10 or 11 at night. You can find out more information at TexasRoadhouse.com.
And remember, Scotty Dancy told you about that fantastic banquet that is coming up for Young Life in Kingsport. To get more information about that, please go to younglifekpt.org, or you can email Scotty at sdancy, D-A-N-C-Y, at ylkpt.org.
And the Alzheimer's Caregivers Conference is set for Tuesday, September 15th at St. Dominic Catholic Church. It's being hosted, of course, by the Kingsport Kiwanis Club in Preston Place 2.
And you can find out more information by going to kingsportkiwanis.org. And I can see the orange flame flickering in the reflection of the light here. So, Bob, your steak may be well done.
I hope the steaks are done by now. At least looks like they should be. Until our next visit together on your Kingsport Chamber Zone, we are very hungry. Bob and Laura remind you to please be loyal
And buy local. Have a great week. Can you go back?
Yes, I know.